Turner.
Well, obviously, there's some young guys that have a chance. And he's one of them, and it'll be interesting to see. You got to apply those things. Vertical jump, you got to be able to apply that on the football field. And we hadn't had him on the football field other than in spring practice, and we like what we saw, and certainly he's a young kid. I know one thing, there'll be some freshmen playing, but I hope we don't have 9 or 10 of them out there at the same time.
What did you think of Zach Williams' spring?
I thought he had a good spring. I thought he grew up. I think he showed some maturity, and but again, he's a freshman.
Coach, how comfortable do you feel about your depth at this point this year as opposed to last year?
Well, I don't. We'll see. It's there's a lot of things that are going to have to take place between now and our first kickoff, and we got to get these guys ready to play. The running and all that stuff and the weightlifting's over. It's time to play football, and it's a whole different world. And we'll find out exactly where we are, and we're going to push the envelope. And we got to, because we got to get guys ready to play. We got a young football team. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 51. I may be off. Maybe I shouldn't quote that number. That 51 guys that are either redshirt freshmen and sophomores. So, how much younger can you be? But there's a lot of pluses, and I know you're getting ready to ask a question. There's a lot of pluses in coaching a young football team.
I was going to say, do they look the part in your eyes?
They're getting there. They're getting there. It's again, some of the guys we're talking about now, and we're asking about are 19-year-olds. They don't look like the 21-year-olds. You don't expect them to right now, but eventually they will get that way.
What are the pluses of coaching a young team?
They don't know, and they're willing to please. They're excited. They're trying to make their way, and when you start looking at it from an effort standpoint and their willingness to learn and listen, usually you get a little bit more of that with young kids.
You've been through a lot of these fall camps. What's your level of excitement or anticipation going into this one?
Well, always, we're going to feel good about going into camp. There's no question about that. We know, and we're not going to talk about the things that we got to get done, but we know what we need to get done. We've got an idea. We're not always 100%, but the one thing that we are 100% on is that we're excited about getting on the field and getting to work.
Is there anyone who's had a breakout summer or surprised you as far as talent or leadership goes?
No.
What are your expectations for Scuda in his senior year and a leader for your linebackers?
Well, I think he's growing every day. I think he's had an opportunity to look, We had him for 2 or 3 days during spring practice, and he's had an idea. He had an opportunity to look at it from a different perspective, and I think he grew from that. We didn't just say, "Hey, you can't practice, so you're not involved." He was involved, and obviously been in programs, and that's what we're doing. And I think Coach Morris has said this already. We're not building a team. We're building a program, and when you build a program, guys like Scuda are able to teach the younger guys, and when we get to that point to where we got that across the board, then you can even feel better about your program. So we're building a program, and I think Scuda's taken a lot of steps in that direction. Obviously, we know you've seen him on the field for the last 2 years. He's a really good football player, but I think he and from the mental standpoint and leadership, I think he even grew a tremendous amount this spring.
You want some speed to be competitive in the SEC. Do you feel like these guys got faster?
Well, it's hard to say after spring practice. I think we recruited speed. There's no doubt about that. Don't kid yourself. That's one of the hardest things to do when you start talking about developing kids. You better recruit speed, and we talk about that. And the only thing I'm going to say about recruiting is, we talk about that all the time. We cannot afford to miss on speed, because guess what? Chances are you're not going to get it that much better.
Coach, thanks so much.